All right, I know you guys are getting tired of seeing these paths, but I'm really stoked about them. I want to take a closer look at the paths tonight, and yeah, I saw, there's been a couple society and group meetings where they've unboxed some really nice species paths, and people are getting more paths, which is great to see. And honestly, you know, we don't consider ourselves like influencers, but in the world of paths, I know the semi-hydro I don't think gets enough credit, especially if you're like an indoor grower in the northern hemisphere, like apartment kind of grower with, modest light and normal conditions. If you want easy, reliable care, I think semi-hydro with Paphiopedilums is definitely for us been the way to go. I mean, we have not really a whole lot of problems. We'll take a closer look at the couple of the paths that are in bloom right now, and maybe talk about some of their care and some experiences we've had with them. And yeah, without further ado, let's look at the one that we're most excited about. It, but of course, that's Paphiopedilum. And Paphiopedilum now is in bloom as much as he's going to be this year. And, it's Paphiopedilum loei. And there's the plant. So we'll show the plant down there with, the older fan that's got the spike coming out, the inflorescence, and then the newer fan on the left there. So this is a really nice example, I think, of this species for just a really closer look at some of the things about this particular species. The dots on this and the petals are really symmetrical. They're, almost perfectly spaced and paired up. Really nice center white spot that sometimes, these can range from like a full dark spot all the way through to like a tiny white speck. But these are nice kind of bullseye rings. And, the graceful kind of color transition into that purple pink on the ends of the petals, and that is really nice on this particular plant with the picotee. You can kind of see it on all the petal ends. There's like this white fuzzy picotee. Here's the older flower that's been on for, I don't know, I'd have to look, maybe a couple weeks now in full openness, if you will. Um, yeah, I guess if I'm going to complain about one thing, it's how far apart the flowers are. Right? Look at how long that inflorescence extends before the next flower, which I know that's kind of a thing. Some of these paths, these like kind of large green leaf multiflorals, they can tend to have large spacing, and this one certainly does. So that's kind of like a downside to it, if you will. Gotta always be critical, I suppose. But um, excellent Paphiopedilum. Really happy with this one. First time bloomer, and it promises, if we can keep it going, to yeah, be a good plant for us. Hopefully, we can get some good genetics from this and keep it going. Maybe reduce that internodal length anyway. Yeah, and then quick bud watch, I guess, since this is a path video. Yeah, on the Robelinii, there you go. Petals are wonky, of course. And the Serveranum still hanging on after quite a while. Yeah, or Appletonianum if you prefer, if you're a path nerd. And there's the plant, really nice foliage modeling on that one. And as you can see, I guess really quick, all of our plants we do grow in semi-hydro, with a couple exceptions. I guess here's one in bark, actually, the Limianum, or sorry, the Primulinum. We grow in bark, and it's doing fine. I don't know why, just because we never we're like, okay, try it in bark, and it's done fine. So we've never Yeah, planted it out into semi-hydro, but it is holding a capsule right now. Anyway, you know what it is if you follow our channel. So, quick shout out, hit that subscribe button and maybe like. Help us hit 1,000 subscribers. Hype, spread the word, whatever. Let's now take a look at a couple other Paphiopedilums. All right, so I've pulled these out already because this is like the third time I've tried to film this. and anyways, these two are the Escarolii albas. Both of them are Escarolii alba. Now, I wanted to just comment on plant maintenance, which applies to so many orchids and plants, I guess, in general. But these two plants we got about 4 years ago or so, and they were both the same size seedlings. Believe it or not, they were nearly identical plantlets when we got them. And yeah, we planted one into because this was early on in our semi-hydro journey with paths, and so I was just kind of using any little plastic container I could get my hands on, and this was like some kind of an ice cream container, and I drilled a couple holes in the bottom of it. There's one there, and actually this one has one on the other side, and it's a small plant pot. So let me show you like with my hand how big for scale, right? So it's very small. There's a tiny little reservoir down at the bottom. And yeah, it's been in this pot for, like I said, about 4 years now or more. Probably more than that. And this one we put into our typical, which pretty much all of our new Paphiopedilums and regular single growth paths go into these, which are 1 liter Coca-Cola plastic bottle, well, soda bottles, 1 liter soda bottles that trim off about halfway and drill with scissors or a drill or whatever, melt one hole now we do in the bottom. And that's the small reservoir of water below that hole. You can see how much salt buildup happens over the years. And anyways, so you can see when you put a plant in like a pot that actually is good for its size, it grows like it should. And this one has so many new growths coming out over all sides of the plant. And this particular one on the right has bloomed, twice for us now in the last 4 years. So every other year it seems to put on a bud. You can dig through our videos if you want to see it, and maybe I'll try to find a picture of it in bloom. And yeah, this one on the left, this is a first time bloomer. So again, both of these plants were basically like the same size when we got them as little seedlings. And now, yeah, you can clearly see the difference when we put them into a little bit larger pot, give them a little bit more room to grow. And then, yeah, as far as our watering, all of our Paphiopedilums, through the winter, we flush them out, drain the little reservoir of water, flush them out once a week. And then, yeah, we leave the reservoir full of water throughout the week. We pretty much do that all the time, all through the year. In summer, if it gets really hot, we may kind of do them a couple days early or do them twice a week for a little bit. But generally, these are the easiest care plants. And we mostly have species in our collection, pretty much, which are supposedly more temperamental. And we pretty much grow all of them the same way. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to be like, no, it's not that simple. But yeah, kind of with PAFs and semi hydro, we find them to be basically kind of that simple. Yeah, I don't want to take any of the magic out of it, but I'm telling you, if you get a PAF and you don't know what to do, get you some leca, get a Coke bottle or any kind of jug. I can show you a couple other jugs that we use, like bigger, little plastic containers from the market or whatever. We just put a couple holes in it. Yeah, um, they're super easy. So, question for you, maybe breeders or plant people. We've thought about maybe trying to cross pollinate these and do some line breeding. I'm not sure if it's worth it. I think so. This one on the left actually has a name, so there you go. That's what they are. Both of them are Ascarolii alba or album. Anya crossed with white wings. That is the one on the left. So yeah, I don't know what's up with the if maybe Europe got. A bunch of flasks or someone made flasks and some of them got the actual parentage names and some didn't. I don't know. These plants basically look identical except for the fact that yeah, this one we've kept in a really tiny pot. That's something we've kind of been learning over the last year and a half is all the things I kind of learned as a beginner. Everything you read says like, yeah, orchids need small pots, they like to be pot bound, put them in as small a pot as possible. And one lesson we've kind of learned recently over the last year and a half, like I say, is they maybe like a little bit more room to grow, and if you constrict them too much, they seem like they will stay small. I don't know. It's like okay, yeah, I gotta pot up, So we've been doing a lot of potting up, which is kind of new for us, which is nice, instead of just throwing plants in the trash, we're actually potting up. So alternatively, there's a couple other things we've used for semi-hydro pots that are really easy if you've got them laying around. Well, let's see. Oh yeah, here's another one that's actually in low bud. Exul. Okay, Paphiopedilum exul. There you can see the bud. It's really nice dark bud. Anyways, this is in some kind of a, whoops, I can't tip it or it's gonna drip out because the reservoir, down at the bottom there with those gross, nasty holes that's full of water down there at the bottom. Yeah, and so this guy is in some kind of a yogurt container that we got from the grocery store. So you can make nice semi-hydro pots out of anything. And we actually dropped some coin, if you will, on the pot for this. This is like an actual Rubbermaid container that I just drilled holes out in the bottom of. That's the Parishii down there. So yeah, you can scale it up. It seems like it does well. And yeah, maybe the Parishii pot is probably too big now because it's downsizing, I think. Anyways, little quick Paphiopedilum discussion. And thanks for checking in. Stick together, stay focused. We will see you back here at El Pilar soon. Have a good one.